Sukha, Bhagavan tells in the next verse, he says, Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukhena brahma sansparsham atyantam sukhamashnute. Evam yunjan sada atmanam yogi. Yogi in this way, evam in this way means as Bhagavan has revealed. See this similar verse is there, some portion of this verse in the 15th also. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah. So as indicated by the Lord, the meditation on the self. As I said, the meaning of meditation is paying attention. If you pay attention to anything else, then that is meditation on that thing. Like even on our railway station, they talk about meditation. Really. Yatrigan kripaya dhyan do. It is meditation only. Because your dhyan here, there, koi kha raha hai, koi pee raha hai, koi ja raha hai. Yatrigan kripaya dhyan do. Then suddenly everyone becomes alert. कि 2 नंबर पे के प्लेटफॉर्म पे आने वाली ट्रेन अब 15 नंबर के प्लेटफॉर्म पे आ रही. So immediately we take carry our baggage and run like anything. But there are some people who ध्यान नहीं दो. They are sitting there eating pakode, chai and all, and then suddenly they realize अभी तक कोई नहीं है. हमेशा भीड़ होती है यहाँ पर इस ट्रेन में. Nobody seems to be there. Then at the last minute they understand that it is coming on the other platform. So dhyan means pay attention. Paying attention to that may help you in your traveling and all. Similarly, paying attention to your breathing, paying attention to mantra, paying attention to some form or beautiful form of God. These are all different types of meditation. They don't lead to the ultimate state of realization, but they help us to purify our mind. Because when we meditate on the beautiful image of God, it helps us to purify our mind. When we meditate on some mantra and all, it helps us to develop that focus and attention. But ultimately, one has to meditate on the self to gain that abidance in the self. Because whatever we meditate upon, we gain abidance in that. Other than the self, if we get abidance, then that is like a tandra, like a trance. So therefore, Bhagavan is using that word again and again here, ki evam, as I have explained, not as you have read here and there, ki yunjan evam sada atmanam, constantly meditating on the self. Atmanam yunjan, sada, all the time. Yogi vigata kalmashaha, this yogi becomes free, has become free of all kalmash, all impurity. In the beginning, all the negative thoughts, negative values are impurities. But as one progresses, then even good thoughts becomes an impurity, becomes a disturbance for the meditator. Because that also distracts the person. But in the very initial stage, we should try to purify the mind by avoiding the bad and harnessing the good. But later on, that good and bad also has to be dropped to shift our attention on the self. So vigata kalmashaha, free from all kalmash, all distraction, all impurities, the mind which has become absolutely pure. No other desire is there. It has come back home. It was loitering in this samsara for a long, long time. That mind has come back to the self. Just imagine. In some scripture they give example like a boat, ship which is traveling in the seas. One bird also traveled with the ship, and it was there flying and all. And then the bird decided, let me go somewhere else. So it flew, left the ship and started flying here and there, but there was no island, no land around. So it again came back to the ship and settled down there. Similarly, our mind is left as though the self and roaming around in this samsara in search of peace, in search of happiness. But after traveling in so many yonis, in so many life forms, after going through many different types of lokas, still it has not found complete happiness. Just imagine, for beginningless time we are here on this in this samsara, going through various types of experience, like a different life form, bird, animal, plant, this, that and all. And in every life form, our main occupation was to maintain our body and experience joy. But even after so many lifetimes, we have not found that complete peace and complete joy. It can be found only in the self. So this mind which was roaming here and there ultimately came back to the self, and after coming there, it became absolutely still, free from all kalmash, free from all impurities. Such a person who has reached this state, such a yogi, sukhena means sahaj, without effort, effortlessly, sukham ashknute, experiences that sukha. In case of the worldly joy, we have to put forth effort, physical effort, effort of the senses, effort of the mind. We have to put forth effort because joy is experienced when we come in contact with those objects. So we have to put, lot of obstacles might come. Sometimes people accumulate lot of punya and go to some swargalok or other lok to experience joy. That is also effort. And once that punya get exhausted, again they come back. So lot of effort is there in gaining joy in the world. But this joy of the self is effortless. So sukhena, sahaj, effortlessly, sukham ashnute. What type of sukha? Brahma sansparsham, atyantam. That sukha which comes when one comes in contact with Brahma. The self, one realizes the self as Brahma. When one comes to recognize one's real nature and one is established in this nature, it is the joy of contact with Brahma. That's literal meaning, samsparsha. Joy of being in tune with our own self. And this joy is atyantam. Atyantam means free from, devoid of end, endless. There is no end to this joy. There is no limitation to this joy. See, in so many verses, Bhagavan talked about this joy. Because this is that which is experienced by the yogis, one who goes into the state of meditation. They experience infinite joy and infinite peace. Infinite joy and infinite peace, because that is the very nature of the self. See, suppose you are blindfolded in a room and told that we have kept one nice hot charcoal in the room, you go and pick it up. So you are blindfolded, you don't know where it is. You look here and there. But when you come at that point where the charcoal is there, you will know that you have reached. हाँ मिल गया. So similarly, even if we are blindfolded and meditate on the self, when we reach that state of realization, when the mind abide in the self, by experiencing that infinite joy and infinite peace, we know that we have arrived. We have arrived home. So Brahma, Sukhena Brahma Sansparsham Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. That Sukha which is Atyantam, which doesn't come to an end. All other Sukha, it has got a beginning and it has got an end. We have seen in the 5th chapter also, Adyantavanta Kaunteya Nateshu Ramate Buddha. That the Sukha which one gains from contact with the world through our senses or through the mind, it has a beginning and that Sukha has got an end. When we are experiencing that Sukha of this world, that is great, we feel very happy. But when it comes to an end, it leaves a big vacuum. And it drains all the energy also from our own mind and body and all. But this Sukha is everlasting. So, Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. And a yogi who has reached the state of Samadhi, only because of the deep pressure of the past samskar, if at all, if they are there, he might come out of it. So in the initial stages, one comes out again and again from this state of meditation. And but then finally he gains that abidance. And once that person gains that abidance, yogi gains that abidance in the self, then even when his eyes are open, even when he is interacting with the world, is abiding in the self alone. That's called the Sahaja Samadhi then. Then there is no need to close the eyes. Close the eyes and sit and meditate is required in the initial stages. But once one comes to recognize and get established in the self, then even when he is looking at the world, interacting with the world, he is abiding in the self alone. So the great state of this realization of this yogi, of this jnani, is now revealed in the next verse. What does he see? How does he look at the world? How does he look at himself? So that is revealed very beautiful verse. Bhagavan says, Sarvabhutasthamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma Sarvatra Samadarshanaha Sarvabhutasthamatmanam Sarvabhutani Chatmani Ikshate Yoga Yuktatma. Yoga Yuktatma, one who has attained the fulfillment of yoga, one who has attained that state of Turiya Avastha, one who is well established in that Turiya Avastha, in the state of meditation, one who is well integrated in that state of meditation. Then even with his eyes open, that state doesn't get disturbed. It doesn't get disturbed. See, when we are not very sleepy and we are trying to sleep, then we know now sleep is coming and all. But that time somebody disturbs you, then again the sleep goes away. You must have experienced. Then again, don't disturb me. So again you try. And again the sleep comes. So in the initial stages of sleep, anything can disturb. Pravachan can disturb. Suddenly everyone start laughing, people get up, kya ho gaya? And we purposely crack jokes in between so that everyone remains awake and alert. So in the initial stages of sleep, when we are practicing or when we are going into sleep, we can be disturbed. We need to be at one place, no sound, no noise, nothing should be there. But once we go deep into sleep, sound sleep means we start making sound also. So when we go into that sleep, then even if there is big noise outside, sometimes people can lift him and take him here, there, that person remains asleep. No disturbance. It's said about Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, when he used to go into sleep also, he was deeply so much that no disturbance. His friends used to carry him here and there, but he was not aware of it. So similarly, in the initial stages of meditation, one may get distracted, disturbed. Again and again we will have to shift the attention on the self. But once one practices and get established in that self, then there is no need even to close the eyes, because wherever the mind goes, there itself he experiences self. What do you call... Yatra yatra mano yati tatra tatra samadhayaha. Wherever the mind goes, there itself he sees the presence of self and he is in samadhi only. In the beginning of meditation, we have to withdraw our attention from the world, from all distraction. But once we come to recognize the self, we will know that the world is also an expression of the self only. We will be able to see the self in the world. So there is no need to withdraw attention from here and there. Wherever the attention goes, self is there. It's like space. Suppose I don't know what is space, then our attention should shift it from the pot and in the center of that pot and try to understand what is this space. But once I understand space, then I see it everywhere. Wherever the eyes goes, the space is there. So similarly, the realized master who is established in the self, he looks at this world also as the self alone. Says, Sarva bhutastham atmanam ikshate. Ikshate, he sees. What? Sarva bhutastham atmanam. He sees his own self. Where? In all beings. Not only that the self exists in this body, but I am in all. He comes to know that I myself am in the whole world. Just imagine. Even when we imagine, it's so fantastic. He comes to realize that I myself am all. From this state of realization, Bhagavan Krishna also is speaking. Krishna is a realized master. So when he says that Maya tatam idam sarvam, he tells Arjuna in the 9th chapter that, hey Arjuna, I pervade this whole world. Arjuna looked at him, he is sitting here in the chariot. Because we think the other person is a body only. But Bhagavan is talking as the self, not as the body. Body is restricted at one place. He says, I pervade this whole world. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina, by my unmanifest, by my unmanifest form, I am pervading this whole world. There is not a atom which is devoid of me. Everything is pervaded by me. I pervade all. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani. The world exists in me. I exist in the world and world exists in me. Means there is no difference between me and the world. See, in the beginning we say God is in the world. But later on, once we understand the nature of God, we say God alone is. God is the world and God is everything. There is nothing other than God. But when we don't understand and recognize God, then we see differences. then we have to shift the attention from these differences to that God principle. But once we recognize God, we see Him everywhere. So, Sarva Bhutastham Atmanam Ikshate. So, this yogi sees his own self in all the beings. He looks at the world, the bird, the animal, the plant, all human beings. In all of them, he sees his own self. He knows that I myself am in all. Just imagine, suppose you are dreaming and a lot of people are there in your dream and a lot of animal birds are there in your dream. And suddenly in your dream you come to know that this is my dream. Then you will know that all of them are my own self only. I have created them. They exist in me. When I wake up, all of them will merge into me. Similarly, the realized master, when he looks at this world, he looks at it as his own self. Sarva Bhutastham, residing in all beings, Atmanam Ikshate, he sees his own self. Bhagavan says that Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutashaya Stitah, that I am Atma residing in every being. That's what he sees. And Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani, again he sees all beings in his own self. When he closes his eyes or just is seated on one place, he sees that the entire creation exists in me. And when he looks at this creation, he sees that in everything I alone exist. I am in all and all are in me. This vision Bhagavan indicates to Arjuna in more detail in the 10th and the 11th chapter. In the 10th chapter, Bhagavan tells Arjuna that I am in all these beings. And in the 11th chapter, he shows that the whole world exists in me. But here the yogi, he attains that vision wherein he looks at the world as his own self. Just as we look at our body, and I know that I pervade my body. However big or however small your body is, you know that you pervade your body. Suppose I take a little pin and ask you that this is a small little pin, and if you see the point of the pin, it is so small. So will you show me some point in your body where I can poke it? Which you, some like कोई आके कुछ अरे रख दो कुछ सामान रख दो उस कोने में रख दो इधर रख दो. Like that you show some point where I can poke it. So no, every point on my body is very precious to me. And wherever you poke that pin, I will know. How will you know? Suppose I poke it in your little finger somewhere. How will you know? Because I am there pervading my entire body. So when I look at my body, I know that I am existing in each and every cell of my body. And when I close my eyes and just meditate on my body, I know that the whole body exists in me. So I now am aware only of my body. But when I come to recognize myself, I will become aware of the entire cosmos. I will know that I pervade the entire cosmos and the whole cosmos exists in me. That I remaining same, the vision will expand. It will expand to include everything. Everything. Entire cosmos. Not only this earth, but the entire solar system, the entire galaxy, the millions of galaxies, not only this world which we are experiencing, but other worlds, the Swargaloka, the Narakaloka, and all the lokas, the realized master will know, will see that I alone exist in all these lokas, in all the beings, and everything exists in me. He will come to realize the very essence of his own self. The very secret of this cosmos is realized. See, the secret is not very far away. We don't have to go to other planet and other thing to find the secret of this world. I am the sample, I am the one part of this world at present. So if I study it, I will understand the secret of the entire world. So this yogi has realized this, ikshate yoga yuktatma. And since he has recognized this self and realized his self alone is there in all and everything in me, sarvatra samadarshanaha, his vision becomes sama everywhere. Same, means he sees the same truth, same Brahma in all. See, when I look at one object and another object, I see the difference. Because they look different, outwardly they are different. This flower, this is a watch, I see the difference. If I have a vision of the atoms, then I might see some similarity. But still I will see difference between this inanimate and I will say animate beings. But one who has got the vision of the self, for him everything is same. Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. Tulsidas ji says, Hari is Vyapak Sarvatra and Saman. So ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana. So Atma is not a tiny little thing in our body. Atma is all pervading. It is the very substratum of this whole world. Everything exists in it, and it exists in everything. So such a vision one who gains is called a realized master, a realized yogi. Yogi is not one who just does some yogasanas and all. Generally we associate the word yoga with yogasana. And if a person does Shirshasana, we consider him as a great yogi. But very difficult. How will you do namaskar to a person who is doing Shirshasana? तो पैरों को नमस्कार करे कि सर को नमस्कार करे? Anyway, this is not our question at present. So this yogi sees his own self in all and everything in his own self. Now, the identity of self and Brahma, or identity of self and Ishvara, is now revealed in the next verse. Bhagavan says, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sachame na pranashyati yo mam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami. Instead of in the previous verse, what was said as Atma, here Bhagavan uses the word Mam. He says the yogi who sees me in all and he sees everything in me, such a yogi he excels. Yo Mam pashyati sarvatra. So previously what is said, one who sees self in all. And here Bhagavan says, who sees me in all. So what we mean by Atma and what we mean by Ishvara or Param Atma is one and the same. See, Ishvara, when I say I become aware, I am aware of this body. When I am only aware of my body and I think I am the body, then that I is a Jiva only. Then I is called Jiva. But when I understand that I am not the body, but I am the witness of this body, I am that pure consciousness, then that I is called Atma. And when I become aware of the entire cosmos, and I know the entire cosmos as my body, and I am the witness of this entire cosmos, then that I is called Ishvara. And the essence of that Ishvara is that Atma only, or it is called Brahma. It's called Brahma. So the I remaining same, the understanding becomes more and more clear.